Season 18 is over, and with Respawn releasing the Reddit blog post and the updates to Ranked in Season 19, some are disappointed, others are furious that Ranked is quote-unquote garbage now. My name is Flame070, the normal gamer, breaking down Apex from the average perspective. And let's dive in as objective as we can and answer the question, is Ranked worth it? In previous videos, I have been elaborating on and hammering on the point that the philosophy of Ranked and the philosophy of difficulty for Ranked has changed. Understanding this is key to really have a base for the argument of is Ranked worth it or not? Because without understanding this, you are arguing really stupid and unnecessary points. The theory behind this system is that you're supposed to be fighting your skill from start to finish, with the single exception of those provisional matches, as that is used to modify your MMR. Your MMR is not something that's supposed to dramatically change, making it more difficult as you climb up. That is not how that works. This is where we're at. So get over it and stop making arguments of what you think it could be. Comparing to the old system is a subjective thing because it's a matter of perspective. When you're discussing the theory, right, of how you want Ranked to be difficult, because like I said, most can agree and most think of Ranked mode, competition, and difficulty as one way, which is not wrong, which is the fact that as you climb a rank, it gets harder for you, and that is absolutely 100% valid, but it is not the only way to create a competitive environment or even a set difficulty. Because remember, the goal of the difficulty for a ranked mode, for a ranked climb, is to stop undeserving players from getting higher ranks. Rank is about time in. That has always been true. And the restrictions that are put in place in Ranked is to counteract that main philosophy. It is to prevent those to just sink in time and get high ranks. We saw this in Season 2 to 4 of Ranked with the early Ranked system. There was no Predator Cat, there was no Masters, it was a very simple RP system that basically, as long as you played Ranked, you would have gotten to Predator. We also saw, because of this, most players honestly stopped playing Ranked around 60 days into the season, making the last third of any season really dry, especially that long ass season from Season 3. So what did they do? They didn't want that, right? They wanted Predator to actually mean Predator, because we all know we don't take any Predator from that era seriously. They introduced splits, soft resets, and some KP modifications to allow good players to advance quickly, but those average players would essentially get screwed because of the time difference, the time restriction. It became about how effective you could get RP in those 45 days, but it also meant how frequently you were playing. So those stuck playing less, like myself, due to me being an average player, had to ensure that each time we hop onto Ranked, we made it count. That was the difficulty of Ranked for a long time until Season 13. Here, a couple of changes were made. They made the road of each Ranked division longer because each division was more RP and the entry cost was really punishing per division. But they counteracted this by removing the restrictions of KP bonuses, by adding Team KP, and allowing you to get rewarded for more than 5 kills. All these things made it so obviously those that sunk in the time and their actual skill made it so they got the rank that they actually deserved. The thing is though, average players got all in a panic because making it such a difficult challenge in 45 days was extremely demotivating. I've already discussed that in length. And the fact remains, and now we're even seeing now that people are like, damn, Season 13 was a good system, but y'all were stupid. Because yes, if that system was implemented with 90 days instead of a soft reset, it would have been an amazing system. But y'all bitched and Respawn went back to the drawing board. But they did like the idea of making it more difficult for players to achieve high ranks, but they also saw the issues of having the 45-day split system. So if you were to remove the splits, how would you prevent a repeat of seasons 2 to 4? So here then is MMR based matchmaking, a magic invisible number that is supposed to group us players fairly in order to have even, fair matches. We are 2 seasons going on to 3 seasons of this now. What are we seeing? Stronger mid games, clustered end games, basically making every ranked match ALGS light, because now we're moving towards the true competitive version of the game. On average, because of the way it works now, I get 4 games an hour. And on a competitive standpoint, I will repeat, this is amazing. Games are competitive because smarter players are doing better, and those with no game sense are getting punished. To make an RNG heavy based game competitive, you make it so the consistent players are the ones moving forward, because there is no skill in luck-based components of a game. But this approach does fail spectacularly because Respawn has been failing at this since they started making things more difficult and more competitive. And I can't believe they just don't get it. People want to brag about their rank because they want to show off that they are high-level players. The drive of competition is a great motivator. However, a high-level battle royale game plays very differently than traditional games. Respawn is constantly fighting against the brain-dead nature of ADHD kids who don't get the concept of battle royale and want it to feel and reward arcade shooter-like kill-mongering playstyles. For one reason or another, Apex is the only community that can't sit still or accept the way a game is meant to be played on a competitive level. I never hear Counter-Strike players or Valorant players complaining that they have like 15 rounds, or that they on average play maybe 1 to 2 games when they're playing competitive modes in a single hour. The real only key difference between those games and Apex is that at least in Valorant and Counter-Strike, you get the fight every round. Compared to competitive Apex, those 5-10 minutes of a 20-minute match, you're just gearing up. And to me, if that is the reason you are bitching, you are so fucking brain dead. And it goes to show you how idiotic the community really is. However, it is valid to say and complain that you're asking us to play ALGS late for what? A banner and a badge? And that's where the dilemma is. Is the 15 to 20 minute buy-in of a match where there is a high chance that you will be doing nothing for the first half, and depending on your skill, can easily mess that up and receive no progress because, shit happens and you still die before 10th place. I mean, I've had it happen a lot, especially as I approach Diamond. Like, for example, this game where I spent a long time just playing zone and all that waiting with my randoms just to get 26 points, like having round 3 with still 15 squads left. On one hand, so nutty, it's extremely fun to play for sure, but fuck, imagine dying. And this is not a pro tournament whatsoever. Imagine being on that team that didn't get anything for that downtime. This happened in season 13 too. People just don't like the idea of sitting still or take things to the extreme and don't see the potential of what they can or cannot do. But unlike season 13, there is less of a chance of that risk of W key because there is a higher chance of you getting nothing for it. Season 13, at least dying before 10th and you managed to score 10 kills, get 10 KP, that was worth maybe 50 RP. So at least up in gold, the risk of that kind of made sense. Shit, at worst, okay, maybe I get 0 because I just neutralize the entry cost. But at best, say if I manage to push past that, push to get more kills, maybe even win that game, the RP reward benefits was there and made that gamble worth it, which made the aggressive W King aping playstyle at least worth pursuing in a rank system where you're playing with no money. This scenario is just not a thing anymore, and I think that pisses off the Call of Duty brain players the most. And even though I think these kinds of players are stupid, 1, they are the most vocal and annoying players, but 2, it is a valid criticism and it has to be addressed in some way. I talked about it a little bit in my shorts, but the way to get competitive in an RNG heavy game is to be consistent. Other systems allow you to rank up by having a couple of lucky pop-off games after having a string of bad games. This system does not allow you to do that anymore. You need to be either consistently good or consistently average. That is the only way you're ranking up, and people are furious about that. Right or wrong, that's where we are right now. And I've said this in my old videos. It has to be practical and flexible for ranked players to enjoy playing ranked how they want. Yes, it needs to align with the competitive version of the game, but it doesn't mean it has to adhere to ALGS tactics. It's a ranked mode with no money involved. As much as I love the mid game and the end games of ranked matches, not everyone does, and that slow start has to be outweighed by something, either by better rewards, maybe add some crafting material or some coins, or maybe even a new store, something I've discussed in the past. But more than that, this system has to make it so someone who pushes to get 10 kills before 10th place has a viable way to play ranked. It has to make it worth being aggressive for players who want to be aggressive and don't want to sit idle for the first 5 to 10 minutes. On an ALGS level, you have seen this playstyle work with Furia, so it has to translate down to a ranked mode. 10 kills is like only 3 squads, so you'll still have like 17 squads left, and it's not an easy thing to do, but at the very least it makes sure that someone can start a match, loot up for a little bit, and fight throughout all the 20 minutes of a game. The matchmaker rules, I do also believe, need to be a bit more transparent. However, matchmaking issues are solved by having a big population, so to me, it's not an issue that I think we should harp on and be like, oh no, bronze players are my lobby, which that's a stupid and invalid argument anyways, but more on that later. In terms of theory and philosophy, I don't mind this direction of ranked at all. I believe it's more competitive, it outweighs the RNG lucky nature of Battle Royale, it pushes for consistency rather than those 1 or 2 pop-off games. And to me, that's what ranked has been all about, that's why Apex is so fun to me. But this is where the facts lie. The rank is achieved based on how effective you are fighting the same group of people from rookie to your desired rank. That's just the way it is. I personally love that. There is some tweaks that need to be done though. What do you guys think? Let's discuss. My name is Flame078, the normal gamer. Until next time, adios.